Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of a Canadian-American slasher film from 2007 from the director of the Maniac remake, and it is also written by Alexandre Aja, the man behind movies like High Tension and The Hills Have Eyes, Piranha 3D, and Horns, all of which I really liked. He did make Mirrors, which really wasn't that good, but I can forgive him for that. And tonight's movie is P2. I picked this thing up at FYE for $1. I picked this up at FYE for $1 today. This movie goes for like $5 on Amazon. I got it for $1. Of course, that's because I bought 2 other used DVDs, which makes it $1. But still, I got it for $1, which is a pretty sweet deal. So, this movie is like a kind of psychological slasher horror film about a businesswoman who is trapped in a parking garage on Christmas Eve, and she's being stalked by some crazy guy. So in the movie, it's kind of starts out with credits rolling to the song Santa Baby, and it's really dark and creepy and eerie, and it actually really makes the scene really creepy. And our main character kind of escapes from the trunk of a car, and then suddenly we get back to probably a few hours earlier, where it's Christmas Eve. It's, she's about to pack up, go home, and, be with her family. And, yada yada yada, she's working, talking to people. There's this Christmas party that they had where her boss got a bit too fresh with her, and he's like, I'm sorry I crossed the line, all that jazz. Basically, she goes down to the parking garage to get her car to leave, and her car won't start. So she tries to go back upstairs to go to the to get up in the elevator and go up to the lobby of this building she works in, and call a cab and wait there. So, but the door's locked to the elevators. So she goes to the security office in the parking garage, and that's where we meet this guy. This guy, he's like, Yeah, I'll unlock it for you. Yeah, I'll unlock it for you, but you want me to make sure that it's not your battery or anything? So he tries to help her with her car, and it doesn't work. Anyway, he unlocks the door, she goes up, and she calls a cab, and she eventually falls asleep. She wakes up as the cab arrives, and because the cabbie called her, and she tries to walk to the door and open it with all her stuff to get out there and get in the cab, and it's locked. The door's locked. All the doors are locked, and the night security guard that's supposed to be on duty in the lobby, letting people in and stuff, that guy's not there anymore. Even though he was there, a few hours ago. So she tries to get onto the parking garage and maybe exit out that way and try and get to the cab. The cab leaves, and then all the lights in the parking garage just go out, and she's attacked by someone, and she wakes up and she's chained to a table. Not chained down to a table, she's just sitting in a chair, and her ankle is chained to one of the legs of the table. And there's a guy sitting there dressed as Santa Claus. That's kind of where I just stopped it. Because if I were to write any further, I'd be spoiling a few things, and I really don't want to spoil this, because it kind of messes with your expectations. And honestly, going into P2, I didn't expect anything fantastic. I did not expect, to get anything as fantastic as Maniac, because this was made, 5 years before Maniac came out. This movie was made 5 years before Maniac, and it's still, so I doubt the director at this time. I doubted that the director could have had a nice visual style by then, because the visual style of Maniac is absolutely fantastic, and it's not as complicated and crazy and violent as High Tension. Although really Alexandre Aja only kind of wrote the screenplay for this movie, he didn't direct it, so I guess I can't really say anything about that. Although he did have some involvement with this movie, and I mean, I still like this movie. But really, I did not expect anything fantastic, but this movie's actually pretty good. Although it's not the most original horror film ever, it messes with your expectations a bit. It's in a location that as far as I know, there are not many other horror films that are completely set in a parking garage. I mean, I know there are horror films that have scenes involving a parking garages, like the Dawn of the Dead remake, or that short scene in Candyman. You know, there are those few movies, but nothing, you know, completely for the entire runtime of the film set in a parking garage. Now, this one isn't completely set in the parking garage, as you could tell from the way I described it, but still, for the most part, it is. So, the acting in this film is actually really, really solid, and same with the writing, but as expected, it's written by Alexandre Aja, so, well, at least the screenplay is, so the writing here is actually pretty good. The characters in this film aren't completely flat, they aren't annoying, they aren't dislikable, you kind of like them, you don't, you know, you kind of care for our main character a bit, it's you know, it's about average. All the effects here are really good and practical. There's not any CG blood or gore here, which is really, really fantastic. Although I'm pretty sure this came out in 2007, so this was before CG blood and gore started to really hit the scene. Let's see. It doesn't have the same kind of visual style as Maniac or High Tension, as I already said. And really, it isn't as good as either of those movies, but it's still a pretty good movie. The lighting in the movie is really good, especially in some scenes. It really sets a mood and makes it kind of creepy, intense, and suspenseful. The camera work is kind of generic. It's nothing fantastic, but it's at least good. It's at least competent. The music is nice and creepy. There is the soundtrack does have some Christmas music on it, which is always pretty cool. All in all, I really liked it. It was nice and tense. It was nice, a little bit intense, a little bit suspenseful, you know, creepy. And I mean, I really liked it. Also, there's a scene in the movie that rivals the blood elevator scene in The Shining, and there's even a scene where the killer dances and sings Blue Christmas by Elvis Presley, which is actually kind of a cool scene. On the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like The Corpse Grinders, and 10 being something like Brain Dead, P2 is probably about a 4. Really, there isn't a ton of gore here. Probably the goriest scene is like, I want to say maybe 20-30 minutes in, and it's still not too bad. All in all, man, I say that a lot. I really like this movie. It's, you know, it's pretty cool. I'm glad that I finally got to watch it. I'm glad that I only paid $1 for it, because it's definitely worth the $1 I paid for it. I'd definitely say it's at least worth up to $5, honestly. Because that's how much copies go for on Amazon. Although you can get a used copy of this on Amazon for a cent. So, yeah. I mean, I definitely suggest if you guys like slash films, if you guys like Alexandre Aja stuff, this is pretty good. I really liked it. I definitely give it a suggestion. 3.5, maybe 4 out of 5 stars, somewhere in that range. Anyway, guys, I'm BiscuitBoo69. The links to the Facebook page, Tumblr, Twitter, all that, and Rotten Cotton t-shirts, where I get my horror film t-shirts, like this awesome Battle Royale t-shirt I have on. This is available on the site. They have lots of cool, like, exploitation film, horror film t-shirts. And my friend Chloe, her cosplay and makeup tutorial channel is in the description. Be sure to check her stuff out. She always does something cool if you guys are into that kind of stuff. I'm signing off. Peace.